In this video, we're going to be doing 2 more looks using the new Tarte Maneater Nightfall Palette. I've already done 1 look. It's already on my channel. I will link that down below. And I'll have 1 more look coming. That should be coming out maybe a few days after this video gets posted on my channel. So for this one, I really want to focus on this shade. This is the first look, by the way. I'm getting ready to go to the Memphis Comic Expo, which is a local Comic Con. As you can see, we're not dressing up in costume for this one. This is the first con that we've done a little more than a year. We're only going to be there for like a few hours, so I didn't want to like fuss with like getting all dressed up and stuff for that one, but we are planning to get dressed up for a con later on in the year. We'll have to see, but as I said, I'm really wanting to test out this shimmer right here. That shimmer is called 9 Live, so I'm kind of wanting to like base the look around that shimmer. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is this shade right here, which is kind of a plummy purple, and that shade is called Vixen. I'm going to lay that in the crease, and I might lay Passionate, this purple right here down on the outer corner, and then just kind of put that one on the lid. And those shades kind of go with, you know, the Milan theme that I have going on as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay this one down in the crease, but first we are going to prime our eyelids using our Party Proof eyeshadow primer from Colourpop in Caramel. I was having tripod issues for a second there. I had to like kind of get everything fixed. It was like really weird, but I have like 20 minutes to get this video filmed, and you know, so I can get out the door. Got a little bit of Vixen on my crease brush, which I had already started applying, but like I said, I was having tripod problems and it was like moving and like, so we had to get that fixed, and I think we're situated now. Yeah, I thought about possibly vlogging a little bit of this con, but this particular one is like a really small con, so there's not like a whole lot going on. There's not much to vlog, and like I said, we're only going to be there for a few hours, so it kind of seems pointless to worry about that, so we're not going to fuss with all that. All right, so we've got that shade down in the crease. Let's move on to the next shade, which is going to be Passionate. It's kind of like that deeper purpley plum. I'm going to lay that on the outer corner right here and just start blending it. It looks a little bit deeper in the pan, but it's not as deep as it looks when you actually apply it to the eyelids. I mean, it's a really pretty plummy purple, just not like super, super rich, super pigmented, like really, really deep. Like if you're trying to do like a smoky purple eye, this would not be the shade that you would want to use. But for something like, you know, what I'm doing today, it's perfect. And it's a beautiful shade that's blending beautifully. I'm just taking a little bit more, really just kind of packing it on that outer corner. Yeah, I'm liking the way that's looking. Very quick, very pretty and soft. We're just going to take a little bit more of Vixen, just kind of on the edge up here. All right, now for 9 Lives. It's not like super shiny. It's a little bit smoother than the shades that have like the imprints in them. But yeah, this will work for the look that I'm going for today. I'm going to take a little bit on the flat angled side of my double-sided brush here for BH Cosmetics and take a little bit of setting spray. This is just a Sephora spray just to kind of give it a little bit more, you know, amp, a little bit more shine. And then we're just going to start laying it down just right in here on the lid. And this is going to be mainly the kind of lid shimmer shade, and then we'll lay something in the inner corner. Okay, that is pretty. This particular shade is one that I've been eyeing since I got the palette, the one that I really, really wanted to like play with for a while. Like I said, it's not super, super shiny and wet looking, but it's giving me just the right amount of shimmer, and I have no complaints. The only thing that I will say about the shade is that it is a little powdery, so you definitely want to make sure you wet your brush, use a sticky base, something so that it will actually adhere, and then you won't have like a bunch of fallout all over your face. I'm just really taking this like into that crease, kind of carving it and like laying it down at an angle. We're going to go back in with a little more Passionate. It's kind of, you know, like we like to do. We like to make sure that the mattes and the shimmers kind of blend in and melt with each other so that there's not like a gigantic, you know, line between the two. These are like perfect Mulan shades. So for the inner portion of the eye, we're going to go into Intrigue. I can't remember if I've used that shade already, but either way, that is the shade that I'm kind of wanting to go into just for, you know, that portion. I feel like it'll go well with the shadows that are already on the eye. So I'm just going to lay that, just kind of sit that in the inner portion of the eye. Just to kind of brighten in that area. I do wish I had like a brighter, actually, you know what, there is a brighter pink. I'm just going to lay this here. I forgot, but there's only like one like bright pink in this palette. That brighter pink is Fascinate, right up here in the top corner. I've used that one a couple of times, but really it is the brightest shade in the palette as far as an inner corner highlight. So we're just going to sit that there in the inner portion just to kind of brighten that area. All right, so I'm going to leave it there where the shadows are concerned. I'm going to put on liner, lashes, something on my waterline, something on my lips, and then we'll come back and see the final look all put together. Final look is finished. I used my Artista liner for my wing. This is the new one, and it was a little bit dry. I had to like wet it a little bit to get it activated, but we finally got it going and did my wings. They got a little bit crazy, a little bit more out of hand, a little bit bigger than I was planning on, but I think they go well with this look. For my waterline, I'm using one of my Beauty Bay liners. I think this one is in Aura. No, Minted. It's kind of a bright turquoisey green. I thought that would go really well with this eye look. For my lips, it's a combination of my lip pencil from Beauty Bay in Heart and then one of my Luxe lipsticks from Colourpop in 21 Questions. This is one of my absolute favorite pinks in my entire collection, and I'm going to say I'm loving the way that the look came together. I will say that I did have a little bit of trouble with that blue shimmer shade. I felt like I would put it on, it would be super bright, and then it would start to fade, and I had to like add some more on the top. So yeah, next time if I use the shade, I would definitely use my base booster, use a glitter base opposed to wetting the brush. I think that might help, you know, give a little bit more impact. But overall, I am liking the way that the look came together. So this is look number one. Let's move into look number two. Welcome to look number two. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit more dramatic. I've been wanting to play around with the more dramatic shades in the palette. So today, as far as shimmers, my focus is going to be Mysterious, which is this really pretty, rich kind of sapphire blue. It looks like it has a little bit of a purple shift. That might just be me, but yeah, this is the shade that I really want to focus on. We're going to take Captivate. We're going to focus that on the outer corner, and then Passionate, I'm going to take that one into the crease, and then we're going to start putting this one onto our lid. First things first, we're going to prime our eyelids with our Colourpop Party Proof Eyeshadow Primer in Caramel. First thing I'm going to do is take my favorite brush from Beauty Bay. We're going to dip into Captivate. I'm just going to start laying that down in the outer corner. That's kind of a murky green teal blue kind of a shade. I'm hoping that it's not going to be super patchy. The fourth look that will be going up in a few days or so, I already filmed the one. I actually filmed the one before the two looks, and the shade that I focused on in that one is this shade right here, which is called After Dark. That shade was a little bit patchy. I had to really work hard with that shade to get it to build up, to get it to blend out well, because I kept getting, like right in here, I kept getting this patchiness. And I'm not like 100% happy with the way that look came out, but you know, it came together in the end. But I did have a little bit of trouble struggling with that shade. I'll talk more about it at the end of the video after we're done with both looks. All right, this shade is going on beautifully. Ooh, I'm liking how that's looking. That is really pretty. Nice and murky. The shade is extremely smooth though going on. As you can see, it's building up. I'm not having the issue with the patchiness like I was having with that After Dark shade. It's very pretty. Look at this. Building up very well. And we're just going to softly kind of blend that on the outer portion lightly into the crease, because like I said, I'm going to take that Passionate purple shade and it's going to go right into the crease area. This is coming out really quick. Look at that. Very impressive, that shade. Now I'm going to take my Real Techniques crease brush. We're going to go into Passionate. We're just going to kind of dip into that shade and softly start blending that into our crease area. Ooh, that is pretty. I'm just softly building that up into the crease and then blending that into that murky teal green blue shade on the outer corner. And I'm making sure that I carve right into that crease. All right, so now we're going to dip into this mysterious shade, and I'm really hoping that I get on my eyelid that really pretty jewel tone that I'm getting in the palette. One thing that I have noticed playing with this palette is that all the shades that have like the little imprints in them, the texture is a little bit different than the shimmers that are just flat and don't have any imprints. It's like they're a little more textury, they're a little more glittery, they have a little more fallout to them. So hoping that I don't have that issue with this shade, but we'll see. I might have to wet my brush. Hopefully not, but you know, you never know. All right, it picked up pretty well on the brush. Let's see. Okay. It's pigmented. It's actually going on the lid very, very well in comparison to some of the other shades, you know, that have the little imprints that I've used, you know, throughout my looks. I will say that I'm not getting that super shine that I'm getting in the palette. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wet the brush once again. We're going to use my Sephora setting spray. Hopefully that'll help amp up the shine a bit. There's like such pretty like sparkle and dimension going on in the shade. Okay, there we go. Do you see that? You see the difference? Yes, wetting the brush definitely helped. Yes, oh yes, now we're getting that dimension. I'm going to go back in with a little bit more passionate. I just kind of want to lay that along the top of the shade going into the brow bone, just to kind of smoke it out a little bit. Now we're going to go into Intrigue for the inner portion, and that's kind of like a silvery pewter kind of a shade, and that's going to be the inner portion and the inner part, or like the inner corner. I'm not going to do like a separate shade in the inner corner. This is going to basically be both. I'm just going to lay that down here and blend that into that blue shade. All right, so that's going to be it for this look. I'm going to go off camera, do my liner, my lashes, something on my waterline, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about kind of my final impressions of what I'm thinking about this palette so far. Final look is complete. What do you guys think? I am loving the way everything came together. It was pretty simple to put together considering how dramatic the eye look came out. For my wing, I'm using once again my Artista liner from AOA Studios. For my waterline, I'm using one of the liners from Davis. I got this from Temu. This is the Waterproof Protection Lip and Eyeliner Pencil in Germany style. These pencils were literally 79 cents and they were freaking amazing. My lips are a combination of the Colourpop Lippy Pencil. This is from the Hocus Pocus collection. The shade is in Come We Fly. And my lipstick, this is from Milani. The shade is called Love Bites. This is part of a Halloween collection they launched a couple of years ago. It is absolutely beautiful. It's very slick and shiny. There's like little tiny flecks of gold in the lip, and it's perfect for like Halloween looks, perfect for, you know, the holidays, going into Christmas, New Year, all that. Just loving how everything came together. Now for my actual final thoughts on the palette, and I do have some thoughts. In general, the mattes I didn't really have any issues with except for one shade, and it's the After Dark shade, which is this deep, rich kind of a murky blue. This shade, when I did the fourth look, which you will see go up like in a couple of days, this shade was kind of patchy. I had a difficult time with building this shade up. The more I tried to build it up, the patchier that I got. So this shade right here gave me a lot of issue. But as far as all the rest of the mattes that I've used in this palette, the rest of the mattes were just fine. Now the shimmers, the ones that have the imprints in them are the ones that I felt like were a little bit harder to work with. They're a little more like kind of glittery. They have a little more texture, a little more fallout with those. So you definitely want to make sure that you're wetting your brush using a glitter base, something like that, because you will get a lot of fallout with these particular shades, you know, that have the imprints. Now the ones that don't have imprints in them, that shimmer formula I felt like didn't really have much oomph at all. The ones with the imprints were shinier, they're more wet look in the eyelids, a little more jewel tone, a little more metallic, but you had a lot more fallout with them, so you need to use like a sticky base or wet your brushes. But the regular flat ones that don't have the imprints in them didn't really have much impact. I really had to work with those to get those to build up and to have any kind of impact in the eyelids, especially this shade right here. That shade is called Nine Lives. This one was really difficult. When I first put it on the eyelids, very shimmery, very metallic, very shiny, just absolutely gorgeous, but it just felt like it was fading really quickly, and I had to keep building it up to really keep that intensity, which, you know, you don't want to have to do where a shimmer formula is concerned. Overall, I expected to like this one a lot more than the After Dark palette that they launched last year, but I have to say I like that one a lot more. I felt like that one performed better. The mattes, the shimmers, everything in that palette performed beautifully. I didn't really have any issues with anything in that palette. This one I felt like I had a little bit of a harder time working with, which is a little disappointing, but overall, it is a beautiful color story. The formula, while not being one of my favorites, I was able to make work for me. But yeah, so that is kind of my final first impressions or final thoughts on the palette overall, now that I've had a chance to really work with it some more. If you enjoyed the video, if you found it helpful, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up. It really does help to get my little channel into recommendations and get it seen. If you are new to the channel and you're not already subscribed, I would love it if you would consider joining my little family and hitting subscribe, and make sure you tap that bell so you do not miss a thing. You can also follow me on my other socials. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Be safe. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.